does climbing help someone who has these type of disabilities
Over there, buddy.
Yeah,
with their legs?
So just going forward, so walking and adapting to like specific movements that they do at home is going to be completely different than the wall. So when they're walking forward, for example, they might have to just put their foot forward right in front of the other. But when they're on the wall, they might need to turn their hips to one way or another, and that increases spine mobility in itself. But then on top of that, they might need to lift their legs to the side versus just going to the front, like as if they were walking. And then even just like becoming more aware of where their legs are in space, you know, instead of just like on a solid floor, on like a flat surface where they can just put their foot wherever they want. When they're reaching for a climbing hold, they might need to put their foot up on a specific hold, or they might need to reach their leg out further or more close. So they have to be really precise with their leg movement. And on top of that, when they weight that foot, they might have to weight their toes or the midfoot or the heel. So they're getting different pressure points versus every time they're walking, they might just be going flat foot or might be just doing like a same gait pattern every time.
What was the part about the targeting you talked about?
Yeah, so proprioception is like knowing where your body is in space. So when you're walking, or just kind of like moving, you might just know your legs are underneath you. You might just know that your foot's flat on the floor. Versus like if you need to put your leg up and put it on a hold, you might need to know exactly where your leg is to know exactly where you need to put it on a hold, like on the wall. Right. So it might need to be closer.
And that neuromuscular.
Yeah, it's neuromuscular retraining because your body's having to think, well, where is my leg in space? Like, where is it going to go? And am I going to aim for it with my toe? Am I going to aim for it with my heel? So it's just incorporating different things other than it's just going to go flat on the floor.
Earlier about the spasms, the muscle spasms that they were getting in there, and how that's okay if that occurs. Just forcing those muscles to do something besides just rest all the time. I mean, it's got, building some muscle in your leg, if you're in a wheelchair, has got to be something to that that's positive, I would think.
Well, it's also just different strains, right? So if you think about it like walking's going to be really heavy on the body. It's like all your body weight. Versus a climb, you might be able to take a little bit of weight off with the rope, and you're going to be able to take weight off of your legs to use your arms. And most of these people are going to be using their arms pretty heavy. So if they're going to go up with their legs and they're using their legs, you might not be putting like that, you know, let's just say 100-pound person, you might not be putting 100 pounds worth of weight through their legs. They might only be putting 75 pounds because a lot of the weight's going to be put through their arms.
But it's in a different way of using those muscles,
and
right?
It's in a sometimes in a completely different way. Like I saw people with like a really toe out kind of gait, kind of like walking, and like their knees are kind of caved in. Well, when they're on the wall and they had to turn their hips into the side, well, now they're like kind of, their body position's facing like one way to the side, and their body, like their shoulders pointing to the wall. Well, now they never walk that way, but now they're weighting their legs and they're weighting kind of through their whole body in a different position than they would if they were just kind of standing. So it's kind of neat.
So that's got to be good for their muscles over time. I'm just promoting climbing in my mind.
Definitely not harmful. And in general, like it's just always good to kind of do something different, you know, kind of throw the body, not throw the body off, but, you know, just kind of challenge in a way that they're not used to, because you're going to get really good at the things that you're really good at, and you're going to stay pretty bad at the things that you never do. And like
you're going to stay fixed if you only just walk.
Yeah.
But if you're doing climbing, now you're actually forcing your body into some different positions that are going to develop the muscles differently, which is going to grow them differently.
And it might make certain activities either. So like if they're, you know, maybe they're having trouble getting in and out of a car, maybe just because they're not used to going sideways, but maybe if they do like some wall climbs and they're focusing on like weighting and kind of like position their body in that sideways position, well, maybe they're developing their muscles, they're developing like a new motor pattern or a new like strengthening pattern to where some activities that they're doing becomes easier because they're strengthening it in a new way.